Hello, so I've actually been watching a lot of notebook ecosystem videos. I've been journaling for quite a while. I've have like an accumulation of journals that I've had for the past 5 years. These are my journals from 2021 all the way to 2025. I currently have my 2026 journal that I'm working on. They're like commonplace journals, or commonplace notebooks, and I'm gonna go through the ones that I have currently and what my rotation and ecosystem looks like. So this is my commonplace journal for this year. I've already gone halfway through, so I suspect I'm gonna need another one at some point before the year finishes. But I have a lot in here. Like I will write. This is like a junk journal, so I'll post like different kind of receipts in here, or I'll have like collages of random things, different art sculptures, and like pictures of me that I've printed out. Like I have just a conglomeration of things. I'll make like travel itineraries that I would like to do at some point, or I'll have like wish lists or just random resolutions and random postcards. I don't really consider it a diary per se. It's kind of just like an accumulation of things that I enjoy. Sheet music, playlists, my Spotify rap from last year. Like I created like a calendar system for myself for the rest of the year. So I have that in there. I'll have like budgeting for the month or any sort of existential reflection that I want to write about in depth. So I don't have social media. For context, I started journaling when I got rid of social media, so I've been offline for, I want to say, 5 years around there. In place of that, I've had a journal where I would kind of use it to keep tabs on myself. My idea of like a post is like pasting pictures or like making some sort of collage or scrapbook on the journal itself. I don't really socialize with anyone. Like my circle is like extremely small, so there's nobody I kind of need to keep up with, except myself. So I like to write and I like to have it in a place that I can reflect on who I am over time. Like reading journals that I wrote back in 2021 in comparison to now, that 5 year gap of you growing and maturing and realizing who you are as a person is so important. This is like a miscellaneous compendium of different things. I don't let anybody else read this, right? I'm a big believer in keeping your peace. Like, I worship peace. So, this is like for the sake of my peace and for my privacy. And I don't really like displaying my personal life for the entire world to see. My next notebook is a unveiling of religion and philosophy. I use this for understanding complex theories. Some of it is like different types of like physics or like quantum mechanics, like Planck's distance, like layers of certain things that I would like to understand that I don't really get. I'm not really good with math, so I'm just trying to like push myself to try to understand science in a way. I do not expect that I'm going to fill this out this year. This is just something that I will gravitate towards if I'm reading something that's complex that I want to unearth later on at some point, but it will typically revolve around religious practice, spiritualism, some sort of theory that I don't really understand, but I'll write it down and then research it later. The other notebook that I have in rotation is a creative writing journal. I do have like a lot of different short story ideas. I have different kinds of poems, some sort of world assembly that I was trying to craft here. There's no editing. It's purely just word vomit, and it will go through the motions of being edited at some point, just not while it's in here. This is just the initial thought. The next thing is my sketchbook. I just draw different types of sketches. It's not perfect. I don't really believe that everything has to be perfect. It's just, just for fun. This is like my fun learning journal, I suppose. Like, this is just what I like to learn in my free time. So far, I've been filling it up with just notes about ancient Egypt. Like, I've been going through books about ancient Egypt. I have a copy of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and like Egyptian mythology. I'm very fascinated with like the entire funerary process of ancient Egypt. So yeah, I've been going through like the different kinds of kingdoms, like the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and I've just been like doodling and writing different notes on different types of funerary texts, the types of dynasties, the different types of pharaohs. But yeah, I think the majority of this is just ancient Egypt. I do want to like fill it up eventually and have like half of it be ancient Egypt and the other one be ancient Greece. Like one of my interests is like ancient civilizations, so I just love reading and learning about them. I think that they're really fascinating and super advanced. This one I started recently as well. So this one is a book notebook. And the reason that I started this one is because when I was in school, I would type up the quotes from the books that I was reading when I had to write essays. So I would have everything on a Word document, but it's kind of like disruptive just having a computer in front of you while you're reading. Like it kind of like disengages me from what I'm doing because I'm like, oh, this is a good quote, and then I have to like just stop and type it out, which I know I could just read the chapter and then go back and type it out, but I would just be like exhausted from having to go back. And so I've been writing it down because it forces me to think about it and like mull it down and then write my notes under it. So I started doing this when I was reading The Stranger by Camus. I just took like different types of notes on the characters and like different quotes that I thought were interesting. I'm the type of person where I have to write things down to fully grasp and understand it, because if I'm just reading it, I'll get it, but I might forget it. If I'm writing it, I'm going through the motions of putting it on paper, like it's sealed, it's not going anywhere. And then my favorite thing in the world is having the little pocket notebooks. I keep this on me every single day. If I have any sort of free time to just sit there and write, like I'll write anything. Daily thoughts in this, if I have any questions about something, if I have a to-do list, if I have a grocery list. Sometimes I'll write like timestamps for movies. Like if I have like a specific scene that I really like, I'll write the timestamp, and then I can go back and like look at how that scene was made. Like I'm really interested in how like film gets created. I use these two daily. Like I will give myself 10 to 20 minutes to just sit there and write. I don't take this anywhere. I keep this in a safe space, because if I lose this, it's like losing a part of my soul. But in this, I'm not as personal. It's just a bunch of scribbles and lists. I'm always carrying these two. This is my March one. Every month I will fill these out. I think that it's important to have a journal. I think that everybody should at least write for 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, just having a moment to just sit with yourself and just observe your day, even if it's something completely mundane, like I went to work, I ate breakfast, I had this, I saw a squirrel on my way to work, whatever. Like you are documenting, and I think that there's a great importance to documentation as a whole. Like it doesn't have to be this magnum opus that, like, I don't see writing like that. I think that writing is more so just this meditative state that you're in, where you have time to reflect and acknowledge your existence. Sometimes if you have nothing to write about, you can just write about what you're observing, and it will give you ideas of what to write about. The other thing I think is important about journaling is how you analyze your self-perception throughout the years. Like if I look at a journal from 2021, I don't even recognize myself, and I wrote it. I am of the personal belief that you are a new person every day, and choosing to grow and choosing to learn different things is something that should be documented. That's your making of the self. So I am a pretty big fan of Joan Didion's writing. Her essay on keeping a notebook, I really like this part. Why did I write it down? In order to remember, of course, but exactly what is it I wanted to remember? How much of it actually happened? Did any of it? Why did I keep a notebook at all? It is easy to deceive oneself on all those scores. The impulse to write things down is a peculiarly compulsive one, inexplicable to those who do not share it, useful only accidentally, only secondarily, in the way that any compulsion tries to justify itself. I suppose that it begins or does not begin in the cradle, although I have felt compelled to write things down since I was 5 years old. I doubt that my daughter ever will, for she is a singularly blessed and accepting child, delighted with life exactly as life presents itself to her, unafraid to go to sleep and unafraid to wake up. Keepers of private notebooks are a different breed altogether. lonely and resistant rearrangers of things, anxious malcontents, children afflicted, apparently at birth, with some presentiment of loss. I really love how insightful Joan Didion is. To a certain extent, like, she is right. Writing doesn't have to be this elaborate collection of your day-to-day basis. It could be anything. It could be a made-up story with what you're seeing. Some sort of specific way that you remember things, your point of view, which could change. It could be how you perceive things. And I think that there's another part in the essay where she talks about how other people's notebooks are not going to be useful to you the same way that your notebook is not going to be useful to them, because you both see things in a completely different way. And even if you were living the same event, the way that it's going to be written is different, which I think that's so compelling and so interesting, because it shows like what people choose to highlight. It says who they are as a person, like your morals, your values, like how you articulate the world around you. It's not performative, and it's not what other people are going to digest. And it's also just not this insane orchestration of advertisements and the constant barrage of noise from the media that you're always perceiving online. Like, it's not going to be the insanity of the world wrapped in a red bow and fed to you. It's just what you have in your brain that you are mulling and thinking about, and there's no outside influences. There's no foreign influence to make you think a certain way. You can come into that journal space thinking a certain way and come out of it completely different.